Today we're going to speak with Jake Alexander, who puts the fun in your finances. Now, I know that sounds different and probably something you're not used to. However, Alexander Financial has helped over 600 clients nationwide to legally and morally pay the least amount in taxes, as well as a partnership that will help you grow your business and create a community you love. So finances can be fun? Tune in and meet the man behind this amazing company, Jake Alexander from Alexander Financial.
That's me.
What do you do?
I do taxes and accounting.
That sounds boring as all get out, but you make it less than boring, don't you?
We make it
You're the opposite of boring, I've heard.
Absolutely, we're
Okay.
the opposite of boring. I wouldn't go as far as to say we make it exciting, because I don't know if that's physically possible, but we don't make it boring, that's for sure.
So what all does Alexander Financial do?
We do tax preparation, bookkeeping, and IRS representation.
Wow. Okay. And what you seem like such a lively guy. What said I really want to get into taxes and IRS representation?
Right? That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a long story, but the shortened version is, I don't have a typical background in this, hence the, I think, little more lively personality than usual, what you see in this industry. But I worked for a Fortune 50 company for 10 years. I was fortunate enough to work my way up into management by the age of 25 and do very well. I was the type of person that I always worked there, and I always had other things going on the side. I always had a side gig of one thing or the other. I pretty much sold everything under the stars, you know what I mean? And so one of those side gigs actually ended up being tax preparation. And so I worked for a company who had an in-house training program. They would bring you in, literally teach you enough to be dangerous. Then from there, how to go out and, hassle your friends and family to get them to let you do their tax return. And I did about, 10, maybe a dozen the first year. It was strictly a seasonal thing, January through April type deal. And I really forgot about it after that, to be honest. The next year came around, and I had some personal things going on in my life. It was the last thing I was thinking about was doing tax returns for people.
Right.
But all the clients that I had gained from the first year literally tracked me down. They wouldn't leave me alone. They're like,
that's a good sign,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Your first year in, the next thing you know, they're bothering you to do it again. You're maybe onto something.
Exactly. And so a light bulb went off, and these people, they were like, hey, you're my guy. You do my taxes. I need you to do them for me year after year. And so kind of a light bulb went off. I got a lot more serious, looked into, licensing, starting my own company, kind of turning things into a full-time operation. And so it took about a year to go through that process. So the next tax season, Alexander Financial was born.
Wow. And how long have you guys been in business?
So the company itself, this is our third year in business.
Only third year?
Yeah.
You guys are doing great. You're kicking butt and taking names.
Hey,
can I say butt on this show? I can say butt on this show. You guys are kicking butt and taking names.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's because, I'm guessing, because everyone, I was thinking this before we started the interview, it really is that kind of we're going to talk about money, finances, and taxes. It's like you regret, you hate doing it, but you make it exciting. That's the cool thing, and that's probably why Alexander Financial has done so well so fast.
Honestly, that's the key to the whole thing. We use our personality. We're able to convey very complex scenarios in very simple and easy to understand terms, and that's what's gotten us where we are so fast. So It started just me, out of my apartment, kind of doing this thing like I told you, kind of on a whim, to now there's 5 of us. We're just about 600 clients in 7 different states.
Wow.
And yeah, so things are going pretty well.
That ain't bad.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
I know, right?
Very good. And so are you married? Tell me about your family life.
Yeah, I'm married. My wonderful wife, Chelsea. She's ultimately supportive. She's amazing. I couldn't do what I do without her. She was a big inspiration for me starting the company, actually. It's kind of a funny story, but
Please, tell me.
Me working in corporate and in management, I always had these great ideas, and it was always my dream to start my own company. And so, when this thing, kind of like I told you, that second year when I started to get a little more serious, that was right around the time her and I met. And so we were, boyfriend, girlfriend, not living together, any of that kind of stuff. And one night we were going out to dinner, and I remember exactly where it was, a pizza place in St. Pete. And for whatever reason, I thought to myself, I'm I'm gonna hit her with it tonight. I'm gonna hit her with a sales pitch, you know.
I'm going to start my own company, see what she does,
and
right?
It was more of just like rambling thoughts it was more for me to like write it out and understand if it was actually possible than to sell her on it. But so I was like, I think this thing can work. You know, it's like I got this many clients and I know it's going to be rough the first year, maybe 2, but we're going to grow exponentially and, you know, all that good stuff. And so she like looked me dead in the eyes and she goes, okay, well, let's do it. And it was like 2 things I remember specifically. The first one was, well, this girl's awesome. You know, I got to figure out how to keep her around for a long time. And the second one was like, holy shit. Well, now I have to actually do it, right? Can I say shit on the show? I don't know.
Just did. It's your show. You can say anything you want.
Oh, okay, perfect. I like that. But it was... She called me out in a sense, you know? And so I don't know if I would have done it or not per se with that, but that was definitely a boost in the right direction. And that's one of the reasons, just one of many, that I love her so much.
Chelsea is her name, right?
Yep.
So if it wasn't for Chelsea Pizza and St. Pete, Alexander Financial might not be in existence right now.
It's very fair to say that, absolutely.
Thank God for pizza. That's all I got to say. And so kids yet? Any kids?
We just had Miles. He's the first addition to the family. So he came in January. He's 9 months old now.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's amazing.
He is amazing. Changes everything, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's interesting because, you know, I have lots of friends with families and children, and they always said that. They always said, like, it'll change your world, like your whole perspective changes. And it wasn't not like a whatever thing, but it's kind of like, oh, whatever, you know, like you don't get it.
You don't know until you know.
Exactly. And it really does. It changed my perspective on everything, the company, kind of where we were going, how I wanted to build things. And so, yeah, he's awesome. He's like the best part of my day is when I get to come home and see those 2, you know?
So when you're going to work and you've got this beautiful family at home, you know that you've got to go out and be the best that you can be.
Absolutely.
Right? And you know that you're also helping other families just like yours. And so you've got to be the best you can be for them as well. Right?
Absolutely. And it's a full-time thing. It really changed the way I valued my time, you know, to where there'd be days before where I'd be at the office and not that I'm messing around, but maybe not as efficient as I can be, to where now it's like, hey, I've got to get X, Y, and Z done by this time because I got to pick up the little man, you know, and it's just, it changes things. It made everything a lot more serious, I think.
So you are, like I said earlier, you're kicking butt and taking names. Alexander Financial is actually, like, for being alive only 3 years and to have this many clients trust you and to have, this guy's fantastic. What is the future of Alexander Financial?
Well, we're going to continue on the path that we're on, and we want to grow to be a nationwide firm and have offices all around the country and partner with as many of our clients as possible to strategically lead them to be as successful as possible.
What do you mean by that, partner with your clients?
You know, we're not just a typical accounting firm where we do your taxes or we clean up your books and send you on your way. We really like to partner with our clients and come up with a consultative strategy to help them be as successful as possible too.
Wow. So, and if they're continuing to be successful, you're continuing to help them with their taxes, their finances, right?
As their business grows, so do their needs, and so it's a built-in leverage system for both of us. We want everyone to grow as much as possible and to be as secure as possible so they can use their business to provide the lifestyle for them and their family that we desire through what we do as well.
Wow. You are awesome, Jake.
Thank you.
You are awesome, buddy. I already know why we go to Alexander Financial, but I want you to tell these guys who don't know yet.
Okay.
Tell these guys why they need to talk to you at Alexander Financial and make sure they know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, perfect. I'm Jake Alexander, owner of Alexander Financial. I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out here. And so the reason you want to use us is we take the taboo out of taxes. Our goal really is to make the process as seamless as possible and convey very complex tax strategies to you and your personal situation as simple and as effective as possible. And so that's really it. The best way to get a hold of us is through our website, is www.alexander.financial. It's a little weird, there's no .com at the end, it's just www.alexander.financial. Has all of our contact info in there. We look forward to working with you.
And dare I say, you, Jake, have put the fun in financial. See what I did there?
I like that.
I'm a genius.
It's fiend, you know?
What?
It's Italian maybe or something, I don't know.
No, let's just go with fun.
Okay,
we're going with fun and fun.
I like
Jake,
it.
I appreciate you.
Hey,
Thanks so
thank
much.
you.
God bless you, man.